Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Streaming Timberborn. I have a slight change today from the usual. Instead of just building things in the game, we're going to build a spreadsheet about the game. And I hope you're excited about that as much as I am, but I am guessing you're not, but I'm gonna make a spreadsheet on stream, and if somebody else enjoys it, all the better. I've made so many spreadsheets for so many games, but I've never done it on stream, so this is a new add-on to the experience. Okay, it feels weird not having the game in full screen so I can see it and the spreadsheet simultaneously. Okay. And they get that game going. We have our towers built. They are functioning. Let's get a look at them from this angle. There we go. Just enjoying them for a second. Okay. Let's get to making the spreadsheet. So I want to make height numbers for all the buildings because if you go into the tab, like it'll tell you all sorts of little bits about it, but it won't tell you anything about like the height and size of it. So I want to know all that information to go into my next run of this game to be more efficient and do this faster and all sorts of things. Make some interesting bits. One thing I want to get the height of is trees. So I need to start with some landscaping so I can dig myself a hole. And I'm going to label the other types of trees that I don't have in the area, so I want to have access to all of them. Okay, we're getting somewhere already. I hope y'all are having a lovely evening, or whatever hour of the day this is for you. Okay, so right now I'm digging a hole so that I can bury the giant platform in the hole to get an exact height as to what point it no longer lets me put it down there. And I believe that's as deep as I can go anyway. So it won't be exactly. Okay, so we have learned that these trees are more than 2 high. They are more than 3 high. Okay, something else is just wrong. I should be able to put it over those. Huh. There's something special about this spot not working. That all should fit. Is this thing in the way? Because it'll work here, but... Oh, right, it's ground only. Right, okay. So if we put it here... I wish it would let me see better. Yeah, we can go down 1 on these trees. That looks like the max it'll go under. And I'll just leave that thing there. I'm gonna check on the colonies for a second. Still got a worker here. How many workers though? 1. Let's send 10 over to that one. Scrapyard, yes. And are they surviving over here at this time? Oh, okay, we're growing. Good. Looks like they're making progress on this slowly. So that is good. And that path dies off pretty fast. Okay. So now let's pick where we want to put our testing ground in. Got a nice spot over here, but this looks even flatter. Okay. I'm going to deliberately break the path up here because I do not want them coming up and building things and just wasting resources. We are in the middle of a drought and we have tons of water and food and all of that. And this still has water. Yeah, everything's doing good. Okay. Now to finally build my thoughts. Wait, no, I did need that ladder up here. Just so I can do some demolitions. No, wait, I don't need it. I don't need it. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is the largest thing to be built. It is 6, right? Yes. And then another platform, but with 2s. And that is another 5 by 6. And 5 by 6. And last one. So now we should be able to tell all of the things that can fit underneath a platform. I want to double check. Okay, you can't even put the 4th layer of platforms underneath that one. Okay. So let's start in the far left tab with paths. Obviously, paths fit there. Paths fit there, and there, and there. So we know that paths are 1 high. And are 1 by 1s. So path, we have, I'm going to do like a grid pattern here. The actual item itself is blue, and I'm going to do blue for where it connects to things, and green as the item itself, and then yellow as power. So to start, this one is just going to be blue. And I want this smaller, squarish. It's not going to be perfect right now, but that's okay. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want all of these to be here. There we go. Then we know the item itself is a. You know what? I did want to make this one. The item itself, and then the paths are round access on all sides. You know what? I think I need to go make this 8 wide, so there. That should be good enough. Always want to have one space above. Insert row. And I do not want that blue. Okay, so name, shape. Also going to do shape. In numerical fashion. Cost 0. Height 1. And consumes nothing, produces nothing. Oops. And then I want to know how many they have them. There's the number sign. I'm just going to do a ridiculous number that I know is true. Okay. So that should be that one now, and if I come up with more categories, I'll put them in as that happens. Okay, district center. Can actually go under these if it's on the sides of it. That is good to know. You can go up on the 2. It can go up on the 1. It cannot fit the 2 or the 3. So even though its height is greater than 4, it's a 5 high, but it will fit under a 2x2 platform. So we're going to go height 2 star. Let's do 2 parenthesis 5. And I want this right aligned. And this was the district center, right? Okay. District center. And the shape again is a 3x3 with the exit in the middle, or the entrance in the middle. So here I'm going to make this blue, and then there we go. Item itself, green. The shape is a 3 by 3. Cost. Does it have a cost? I don't see a cost. Okay, we're doing 0. Consumes nothing, produces nothing. Number I made for this round. Okay, and the next one is the district gate. It can fit under everything. I guess this qualifies as it being too high. Yeah, 2. I need to freeze this row. View, freeze, 1 row. There we go. District gate. And it has entrances on 2 sides. With the item itself in the middle. I'm actually going to put a gap in between all of these rows, because this will get messy if I don't do that. Reset. There we go. So shape is a 1 by 1. Cost is nothing. Height is 2. Consumes nothing, produces nothing. And I used 3 of them. Stairs. Construction 2 by parking builders. Yeah, okay, but it can clearly fit underneath. It can fit underneath. It can fit underneath. It cannot fit underneath. So height equals 2. It has the same basic shape as the district gate. Oh, right, I have to use keys. Wooden stairs are a 1 by 1. Cost is... I should do multiple columns for cost. Insert one right. This is wood. This is planks. Okay, this takes 1 wood and 4 planks. Consumes nothing, produces nothing, and I sure picked a whole lot of them. Okay. And next we have our platform. We know it fits under here, and here, and here, but not here. So we know it's a 1 high, but it doesn't let us fit it under here because this has space that's consumed underneath of it. So even though it's at the 1 high, I'm going to label it as 2 because I'm not actually doing its height, I'm doing what height of platform it'll fit under. Because that's what I really care about. So we have platform. and it is just itself, but we're going to use the same deal as path. There we go. Just a 1 by 1. It requires 2 wood and 4 planks. Consumes nothing, produces nothing, and I built a lot of them. Okay, double platform. Same shape. Same dealie. Requires 4 and 4. Okay, height. I know it's a 2 high, but for our purposes, it's behaving as if it were 3 high. Hey, Slowblade! How's the spreadsheet? It's going so far. I'm only on the first tab. Every time I cut out to it, it cuts off the volume. So far, I've come up with the system where any side that's able to access it with pedestrian beaver entrances, I'm labeling blue, and the object itself I'm doing green. When I get to items that require electricity, I'll make the squares that can accept electricity to be yellow. So I'm doing the shape, how much it costs to build, the height, and if it consumes or produces anything. So I've got path, district center, district gate, wooden stairs, platform, and double platform so far. So not very far. This is going to be a tedious stream, but it's something I want to do. Do you want to use the dev console to make data collecting easier? What's that? If that exists the way I think it does, that sounds like a good thing that would speed things up drastically. Dev buttons make things easier. I don't know how to access. So I'm not seeing it under settings. Alt-Shift-Z. Alt-Shift-Z. Oh, that changes some images. What is this one? I can just spawn beavers? Well, that would have saved my first run. That's so cheating! Does Alt-Shift-Z take me back out of it? I can still spawn beavers. Well, you're gonna watch all those ones die. They've got nowhere to go and I'm not building an exit. Map editor. Wait, I can edit the map while I'm in the game? Well, this is just cheating. Okay, that feels like cheating. Okay, what do they have differently in here other than those little things? Okay, paths. Well, this isn't actually telling me the height of things either. They're not labeled in here. So I wanted to know the height. Go back in dev mode. There's a button to the left above the log. It's dev console. Yes, above the log. Not this log, right? Reporting location, slope, water source barrier. Which log are you talking about? The left side of the screen. Oh, I was thinking a wooden log, not like captain's log. Okay. Unfortunately, this thing is taller than. Can I turn off these notifications? Let's see, I can toggle. What's GC? No. Toggle drought, beavers, buildings, natural resources, terrain, water, nav mesh, reset speed, water simulation 10x, water simulation 3x, speed 30, speed. Oh, I can go speed 99. Soil moisture reset, toggle fog. Metrics right to disk, metrics reset. Oh no! He can kill a selected beaver! Kill 30% of population. They're going on their own. Highlight resource production spots. Dump mesh metrics. Camera move target up down. Move clip thing faster. Move thing further. Free mode. Okay, so none of those options are getting me the info that I want. Slaughter button. There's also a free genocide button. Yeah, I'm gonna exit cheater mode, as it's not going to be beneficial to my purposes right now. I am glad it's there. I'm glad you told me about it, but it's not fitting my purposes for today, because the menu for these items does not tell me the height of all the objects and which ones will fit underneath of platforms or not. So I just gotta do it the long way. I needed it to make my map. Yeah, I can see you needing it to make your map. But it will not help me on my current task. So, tediousness will ensue. Triple platform. We're doing the same size. It also 1 by 1. And wood is 6 and still 4 planks. Height 4 consumes nothing, produces nothing, and I built a whole lot of them. I'm just using 500 as my ridiculous number, so I have a number to fill in. It also lets you insta-build things. Well, I don't actually want to build the things, I just want to see if they're buildable. Wait, will it let me cheat real bad on the metal platforms? No, it still won't let me cheat the metal platforms on top of each other. So cheater mode isn't as cheatery as I would like it to be. Good for testing physical stuff. I do want to know if I can fit a platform on top of the platform. Okay, it will allow that. And it will allow a path. So far, that's the only thing I know that fits between those two. Like water manipulation, dam testing. Oh yeah, I can see it helping with that type of thing. I do want to know if the width of a crack in a dam changes the maximum water flow available. Like if I made this too wide, would twice as much water be able to flow out, or would it figure out that there's just a maximum amount of water that can be transferred anyway? Like, would it be equal with 1 or 2 gaps? Or would 2 gaps be twice as much? Or would it be a derivation between the two? That's why I'm building Zikundi's bathwater. Whether or not we'll see how far they actually get on this thing. Alright, I can finish. Oops, wrong thing. Okay, levy. There we go. That'll be a lot of bathwater for Zikundi. Now that I've built this ladder up here, I should take out this path. And I'm gonna make this levees up here. Yep. All the way up. Maybe now we'll see them get somewhere and we'll see water coming out. She definitely lets more water out. Did you hear about the Twitch leak at all today? No, I have not. What Twitch leak happened? Okay. The metal platform. The platform is 3 by 3. So I will do this. Yeah. Okay. Shape 3 by 3. And I need a new column for metal. Uh-oh. I should not hit Control Z on this little interactive browser in OBS. Is it still looking good on your end? Okay, it still looks fine there. Is it no longer interactable? Why can't I? Okay, Control Z does not work on the thing I'm doing right now. Delete row. Okay. Anything I do is all manual. Okay. How many rows do you guys see? Up to row 10. Okay. So I moved that. How do I get this thing? There we go. This is getting better on my end. Okay, you see to row 10, so I'm gonna hide to row 10. I can see game now. Okay. One of the other streamers I watched said there was an information link on Twitch and said to make sure to change your passwords and activate two-factor authentication. Okay. I'll be doing that. I think I already have two-factor on. Column this time, and we want metal. Refined metal. It feels weird to change my password when, like, I just made it a week ago. And this takes 200. Height 4. Consumes nothing, produces nothing. I do want to know how many I actually used. How many did I build with? I used 1, 2, 3. This one doesn't count. 4, 5. I just got twisted around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then over here. And then 6 and 7. Really? I thought I would have built more than 7. Okay, 7. True, and I didn't remember one for this account, so I had to go through the whole forgot password. Yeah. Okay, I keep clicking on the layout in OBS instead of the layout in the game to play the game because of flipping back between different screens. I hope the music cutting out isn't bothering you tonight, because it cuts out whenever I move away from the game itself to the spreadsheet. Okay, and oh, this thing will be built underneath of a platform, but you can't build underneath of a metal platform, but you can't build a wooden platform above it. Because, like, see, it won't. The little ones won't go on top. Okay. Interesting. Does this hold true for all of them? So I can just mass produce them? Yeah, it looks like all of these. Okay, come on. You. It doesn't want to go on this one. I guess there is a height difference between all of the bridges. Weird. Because the shorter one fits. So 3x3 and 3x1 and lower will fit underneath the platform, but the 4, 5, and 6 won't. This is the data that the cheater mode won't give me. Ooh, LOL. I bet that's frustrating, and it's no problem. I'm watching soon. Is it that one that you talked about yesterday? Suspension bridge. One by one. Oh, there's the thing. Okay. Nah, it's One Punch Man. I have not seen that yet. I've heard good things about it. How many seasons do they have of that show now? It's hilarious, mostly. Two. Okay. So I wasn't sure if it was more than two yet or not. Because I prefer to binge animes once they're fully out. Wooden planks are both 10. No metal. Height on this one was 1. Consumes nothing, produces nothing. And I didn't really build any of these pitches. Okay. I'm just gonna copy and paste. Then we should fix this to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I don't know if there will be a season 3. There's no confirmation yet. I'm just rewatching. Oh, okay. I guess that gives an even better review if you're rewatching it instead of just watching it. Is Are there little hidden things in the show that are fun to catch on a rewatch that you didn't catch the first time? There are, yes. Okay, that's good. I like it when shows have rewatchability. Um, it's infrequent of me to go back and rewatch a show, and I pretty much only do that on the ones that have those little hidden bits. A lot of the time I miss things, so rewatching I see a lot more. Well, are you usually talking to people as well? Because I'm sure you're probably missing some now as well because you're also talking to me, which is nice and I appreciate it. Thank you for commenting while doing other things at the same time. I'm pausing, lol. Okay. That must be a lot of pausing. Um, no reason on that. Okay. As long as you're cool with the amount of pausing. 2020. Okay. No metal required. Why did it jump back to the stairs? Height was 1. I figured out that it was 1 and then 2's. Consumes, produces, and I didn't build any of these. Did build one of the 4x1s. 0, 0. And I built 4 of the biggies. $30. Okay, and then the ones that are taller use refined metal. Okay. But the short ones don't. Interesting. At least to me it is. $40, $40, and $20. 50, $40. 60, 60, 50. Okay, I've finished 1 tab out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 tabs. I've done 1 tab. And I'm mostly rewatching some of the epic or really funny moments. I rewatch a lot of my favorite moments, YouTubers, when I'm in a low mood. But now I'm not, though. Well, I'm glad you're not in a low mood right now. And I'm glad you have a method that works for you that helps your mental health out. Okay, are all the crops 1 high? Let's go figure that out. Should I do cheater mode? Because I put all the crops further away from the water than would be easy to measure. Do I have a convenient height measurement? That fits, that fits. There's no more potatoes there, so I can't tell. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can sheet the crops in. Okay, it won't let me plant crops. Okay, does cheater mode let me to delete land without paying for it? Okay. Cheater mode does let me do things without paying for it. So cheater mode is just creative mode. That's what I'm playing in now. I'm playing in creative mode. I already got to 15 happiness. Okay, now I will put some crops in. And see if this will fit. Basically, okay. So this is just only causing his fix. It's too far. It seems to actually be fine with the height itself. Do you think they'll take this shortcut out of the game or leave it in? Or make a more dedicated button available to all players more easily? So they can exploit things like this? Okay. We cannot go 40, so 1 below is fine, 2 was fine, 3 was fine, 4 was not, so indeed the plants are 1 high. Just gotta double check. Does it do this with the trees? Okay. It doesn't like tree. Or I just had it in the wrong spot. That or it just doesn't have them fully registered as existing. Because cheater mode isn't making them actually grow. It's just saying put them here. Well, let's just put blocks next to and see what height we get. Oh, that's totally 1 high. There we go. Carrots. Most definitely 1 high. Potatoes. 1 high. Okay. You can also add item to storage containers if you need to do beaver testing. I don't need to change inventory right now. Well, I could if we're already in creative mode. This storage. Modify inventory. We can add wood. Right? Where's wood? Look, spread carrots, explosives, flour, gears, grow potatoes. Paper, planks, potatoes, scrap metal, wheat. I don't actually see wood on here. Log can only be added through... Oh. Well, that makes sense. Log can only be added through log pile. Amount? 180. Okay. Well, this is just cheating now. Okay, I'm gonna put more log piles in. Not able to reach this? Okay, yeah, beavers get to it now. Okay. Lump mill, your workshop. No, it's log piles over here. Getting rid of this. This. Modify inventory. Oh, they haven't finished building them. Now I can modify the inventory. I'm just cheating now. Okay, now this one. Building is full. And capacity, modify inventory. I want planks in here. I want the full 200. Building is full. Planks. There we go. You could build a farm hut with a little district to force beaver to do it. Log going to be added through log piles. Log. It is indeed cheating. I completely agree. I just recommended it for testing to increase practical testing efficiency. It'll speed up the time it takes to be able to test water flow. It is for testing efficiency, I swear. Plus, I want to see how high they can actually build from above, because building from below doesn't seem to work very well. They cap out around 2. Okay, back to this. We agreed that all of the crops were indeed 1 high. So carrot. There's no pathing involved with carrot. And it does not require any prerequisite food in order to make food. Produces 3 carrots every 4 days. And how many of them did I have in the end? These bits don't really count because they were to feed the other districts. It was more of what did I have down here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we'll call that 30. And by 1, 2. Let's just call this around 130 carrots. I'm just ballparking the carrot number, not looking for the exact number, just the rounded number. Okay, potato. We're also just doing a green square, and 1 by 1. And requires no prerequisites. Height is 1, consumes nothing, and produces 1 potato every 6 days. How many of them did I have? I feel if they added other weather events, it could be cool or interesting, like say a flood that if you don't have good control of the water, you'll be shut down for a while. Yeah, like how all of your beavers died the other day? Okay. I was actually thinking about using the flood mechanics as a means of mass pausing of buildings, because like my builder's huts, I have them all paused right now. If I put them all into a little smaller sub-district without a separate district center, just clustered together, and had a moat around them so they would deliberately flood, when I want to pause them all, I would only have to mess with 1 levee instead of pausing 8 buildings. Which I'm going to experiment with on the next map. In theory. 16-ish. 1, 2, 8, at around 16 times 20, 34. What, I can't. Why can I not do formulas right now? Oh, right, it's not the X, it's star. There we go. I found some numbers on Reddit for food efficiency. Yeah, I've been finding those too. I just wanted to know what numbers I had. Ending this map to go into the next one. So I know my numbers will not match the ones I found on Reddit, but I wanted to know how far off mine were from the ones others are suggesting. And like everyone seems to have their own ratio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 19. If I 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. 13 by 19. So which numbers did you find? Because I found so many and I don't remember any of them off the top of my head right now. But I would love to know what ones you saw and thought were worth replicating. It was 1, consumes nothing, and produces 3 wheat every 10 days. Hey, one more tab down. 2 water and 2 food per day is what it says per beaver. Oh, I thought you were talking about the ratio between carrots, potatoes, and wheat, not just how much they consume. Because the general average, it seemed like, was also 2.5 squares of food per beaver. Seemed to average out across things as well. But it is good to know that it is 2 and 2. It makes it easier to calculate, can I survive the drought in case everything crashes. Okay, blueberries. Let's figure out how tall they were. Blueberries are most definitely only 1 tall. And now they're just gonna build that platform. It can stay there. Blueberry. Does it need anything to be made? And consumes nothing. And it grows 3 every 12 days. It'd be fun if you could mix blueberries and bread together and make blueberry muffins to feed the beavers. That's just a personal thing. if the devs never add that, it would not be a heartbreak, but I just thought of it now, and I thought it would be fun to have that as an option. I had around 50 of these things going at once. That's base. Folktails consume 20% more food, Irontails 15% more water. Okay, they're about even on that. But Irontails have the benefit of the deep water pumps, and Folktails have the benefit of beehives. So that kind of balances out a bit. So your numbers are fairly accurate. As for how much food a tile produces, it goes as follows. 1 tile of carrots gives 0.75 food per day. 0.75 per tile. Food per. And this food per tile is including conversions through things like the grill and gristmill and bakery. Those things, the land area of those items is not accounted for in this number. It's just the eventual yield once it's been processed through. Is that how you're calculating these numbers? Potatoes give 0.67, and wheat is the king with 1.5 food per tile. Thank you for those numbers. Do you also have blueberries? Though it looks to me like it's just a quarter. There's 3 berries every 12 days. Divided by 3 is 4 days per item, so a quarter of a day. Those times also include time to cook. So what are those numbers if I'm not cooking? Like if I will be cooking, but like what I mean is, are those numbers, how to word things? Is it accounting for how many days it takes to grow the thing and then the days it takes to process the food, or is it just we're saying this came out of the ground already cooked as our time estimate for how many food per day we're doing? Berries are 0.25. Okay, we agree on berries. Okay, birch is 1 log every 9 days. Birch. Also a 1 by 1. Doesn't consume anything, has a, what did we decide the height was on these things? So, if you plant the tree before putting the platform, the trees will not grow through it. But if you plant the tree before the platform, they will go over it. That's weird. They're like snakes growing to the sides of their container. Okay, that's another thing cheater mode won't tell me. That they'll just stop growing. Are they still mature trees? It's watered and alive. So yeah, it's a mature tree, it's just a different height. Because if you look at my forest, all of these maple ones are slightly different heights that all matured at different heights. So they just, all the tree types will mature to a lower height forcefully if there's a platform. Okay, now if I remove the platform, will these trees grow up in this little square here? Will they permanently be shrunk in height according to the parameters I forced them to grow in? And that was um, down a peg for that platform. Because these tall ones, yeah, okay, trees are 3 high, looks like. But you can force them to be 2 high. So I'll do 2 and then 3 in parentheses, depending on when they are planted. Consumes nothing, produces, what was it again? 1 log every 9 days. Zero food per, food, and I'm gonna do slash wood per tile. Okay, and we have equals 1 divided by 9. There we go. Forceful tree shortening. And it's less forceful than chopping them down. I'm not reducing them to stumps. Okay, pine is 2 every 12 days. Next one. Height, I'm just going to copy this and paste it down. There we go. And both these consume nothing other than water, but it's not a consumption I have to, it's not consuming wood to make a plank type of feeling. That's what these that produces columns will be. Produces and consumes. Okay, produces 2 logs, 12 days. Ah, I am over typing. I did not keep any pine around, and that is equal to 2 divided by 12. There we go. Maple. And that is 8 logs every 24 days. That should be 1/3. 8 divided by 24. There we go. How many of those did I have planted? Because I do care about this number to a higher degree. 1, 2, 14 by 1, 2. 14 by 11. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That looks like 50. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, by the time I actually finished making this, I was catching up on wood, so I'm not going to include that in my count. But I will include this one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll call that 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24. 6 by 24. What's that number? Okay. 465-ish maple trees was my rate of being able to chop them down and use the wood at its peak. Speaking of which, let's go cheat so we don't have to carry wood into this establishment. And I've still got beavers here. Good. Like, I clearly have the wood, I just don't have all of my beavers shuffling it over here fast enough. Okay, even with the cheat mode on, telling it an amount of 200, it still only puts in 108. Okay. Looks like they're gonna finish this chunk of the wall next to the water source. Oh, you can see all the stats for the water source in shooter mode. Interesting. Okay. Is Zakundi still around? No, looks like we lost Zakundi. We need a new one. There we go, that's number 5. Yeah, you can bump up the strength and flood your village. I don't want to do that now. But it will provide more accurate data when I try and determine how much water comes out of the dam at a time. Okay, why is it not leaving this beaver? There we go. I kept trying to turn off the eye, but it stayed on the eye as if I had never clicked it. So now the delete buildings is just a thing where I remove, it doesn't affect my build heights. Priorities doesn't matter. I could just spawn beavers. Get to work. That's fun to do. How's the population doing over here? 27? That looks like it's the amount of space I gave them to sleep anyway. Okay. Next tab. We've finished this one. The paths and structures. Now we're on to landscaping. Dam will fit and will not be placed on any of these. Dam is one of these little plus signs. Control B. 1 by 1. It requires 20 wood. Okay, it does not require planks, which is good to know so we can cross rivers before getting planks. Or use them to go over a gap so you have to do stairs up and down before you have planks. Alright, we're calling that 1. Consumes nothing, produces nothing. And how many of those did I actually put in? So I kept putting them in and out. I have a row of them down here. 4, 5. And then I've got one hidden up in here. So let's call that 6. Levy. Doesn't want to be built in anything but that special roof, and even then that was cheater and can be removed. So that is a definite 1 height. And it really, yeah, you can path over this. Copy. 1 by 1. And it is 12. So the levee is cheaper than the dam. So if you're doing day 1 build, trying to forge your way across a river like this, trying to get your dam in place as fast as possible, it's actually better for you to make 3 out of the 4 of these dams levees and only 1 a dam so you don't flood everything. But the dam block can't be placed on itself. True. But can be placed on levees. Yep. Levees require... Oh, they require research. So you're in the... Well... How much oh, because I don't have... I'm in cheater mode and it's not telling me how much research I need for all of these. Yeah, I'm missing that whole column of research. $120, I think. Okay, so $120 if that's the levies. Compare that with planks. How much was the lumber mill to research? Was it like around 80-ish? Oh, none for the lumber mill. Okay. So what was... Oh, it was the forester that needed planks that required research, and I felt like I was gonna run out of supplies before I could get it down. What is the max number of levies I can fit underneath my tower? Three max. While I have these in place, I should test all of these other options with the dam. Okay, that works, and that doesn't. Even though I know you can only stack a dam once, I'm still gonna write 3 max. As if 2 of them were levies. Yeah, 1. I'll just write with levy. 2 levies. There we go. It takes like 70. Okay. So you remember roughly the same number as me. Only building can be placed on dams. Okay. Wait, are you saying the lumber mill can be placed on top of dams? I thought I could put anything on top of dams. What? I'm just gonna build up here. Okay, dams. Okay. There. That should be big enough to put anything on top of it I so desire. Oh, and they're not up here to build it. I don't actually need them to. I know these are all ground only. That tab doesn't do anything relevant. Okay, paths can be built on top. District center can go on top. Gate can go on, stairs can go on, platform, platform. Just not the metal one. Bridges can go off of them. Yeah, you can't build them on top of each other, nor can you build the levees or the floodgates. You can build the explosives factory. Not dynamite. Log pile can't, but that's a ground only. The warehouses work except for the ground only one. Yeah, it's looking like only things specified ground only are the only ones not working. Irrigation tower. Oh, but it's a ground only. Beehive is also labeled ground only, therefore it does not work. But yeah, pretty much everything's working. Just the things that label themselves as not being allowed won't work. Oops. I was just saying landform blocks couldn't. What do you mean landform? The ground only is landform? Oh yeah, temples are ground only. I forgot that. Ah, I want to build the temple in the sky. Oh, since I'm in cheater mode. Slope, starting location, water source barrier. No, that's not land. Starting location, barrier, water source. Is there a terrain height changer that I'm not seeing in cheater mode? Blocks in the landform tab. Oh, you mean landscaping? Because I can still put the explosives factory in that landscaping. But you're referring to specifically levee, floodgate, double floodgate, and triple floodgate. Yeah, but those ones, while not specifying ground only, have a special label attached to them that they're not sharing. It's ground or themselves with levies, and it's ground or levy when it comes to dam or floodgates. Okay, I was still on levy. How many of these things did I make? I'm gonna just write 500 and move on. One. Oh, wait, no, I actually don't want to copy and paste that like I was planning on. Reset that. Reset that. Because these ones are a funkier shape. And let's make sure I've got the proper spelling. And it is 10 and 5. Height is 1. And let's see what the max number of them I can use at a time. It's a little bit, it's not a height of 1, it's a height of 2. You can go on top of 1 levee. Not in this mode. No, you have to be in map edit mode to place actually. Okay. Because it'd be so cool if I could make like a compost pile and then make dirt from that and then build land from it. I would like to do that. It's not a thing that this game needs, but it sure would be nice in order to make prettier farms. Double floodgate. 20 and 10. And now we're checking the height. Okay. No levies allowed. Wait, so I'm actually labeling this as... Go back into the game. So its little cap looks like it's more than 2 high. Yeah, that little cap is too high. So it's a 4 tall fixture. then this one shouldn't fit at all. Yeah, it's a 5 high. $30.15. Okay. Oh, it's almost Puppy's bedtime. Though he's already in his bed for the night because he was a bad boy and pooed in the house. So we put him to bed early. Trying to get him to not do that. Okay, I cannot place this on top of platforms. But let's find a spot where I can measure this. And dynamite is... okay. Okay, it can be placed. It is a one tall fixture. It just can't go underneath wooden ones. Requires 1 dynamite. Okay. Puppy emoji was pooping home. Oh. No, he doesn't like the rain. Like, I like the rain, my mom likes the rain, he's the only one here who doesn't like the rain. And it's raining today, so he decided twice today to poo in the house, minutes after we took him out for a walk. He's just being a bad boy. A very, very bad boy. This one consumes nothing, produces nothing. Number, oh, how many did I use? Because I cleared this whole chunk out. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 high. So let's call that 2.5 based on being different spots. It is how wide? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so equals 2.5 times 10 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-ish. Let's go 16. Oh, that comes out to an even 400. Trillion. That one should have been all caps. Oh, Speaking of obnoxious numbers of things, let's make sure these beavers will never run out of logs. Okay, and this is full, this is full, this is full, this is full. Because levees require only wood. Okay. They only need wood for all of this. Can I build a bridge, and will that function? Will they do that? Because they're clearly not reaching it now. They're all choosing to go to a further spot than this, so we'll see if they can not only build across this, but then make the other one from this side and then work their way down. But I don't think they'll be able to actually do it because they would have to need the levees built before the bridge. If we come back in a few minutes and they have not built this, I will change this to a 4x1 and then see if they can. Oh, they're coming. We can make this high priority. I'm not gonna hit the finish now because I want to see if they can do it on their own. They won't build the second one? Okay. But I want to give them a minute to try. Okay, they did indeed build the first one. Okay, leaving cheater mode. It does not indicate that it is not reachable. But yeah, looks like they're not going to build it. You can click the finish now and it won't work. Oh, yeah. They all go at the same time. If I stack all the ones on top. This construction too far from buildings. Oh, that's a cool effect. It just does the whole column if you've already finished all the bits. But I want to undo my cheater genius. I want to figure out how to do this legitimately. Semi-legitimately. The 4x1. Will you guys do it now? And it does not have the error this time. Yep, they're going to it. Okay, good beavers. Okay. I thought I'd get a lot further on my spreadsheet than I did in this time period. It's already been 2 hours. Okay, I'm tired. I'll resume the spreadsheet tomorrow. Thank you for talking to me. I'm surprised you still wanted to talk while I was just making a spreadsheet. Thank you for showing up. I enjoyed your company. Okay. I will hopefully hear from you again tomorrow. I plan on being here. Okay. This button. See you later.